Onesies, a podcast of one season wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew,
My name is Emily.
and we are back discussing the 1998 ABC 1 hour dramedy Maximum Bob, starring Beau Bridges, Liz
Liz
Vassy,
Vassy and a bunch what's her
Sam
name?
Robards.
Sam
Oh, Beth
Robards.
Grant's in
Beth
it.
Grant.
William
That's who I was.
Sanderson. The chick that Emily wanted to watch this for to see her scantily clad a bunch, which cool, dude. Like weird vibes this time. Also, weird vibes this time will be this episode. So, last episode, we discussed how they were really leaning into mocking the rural Floridian.
Hmm.
Uh, that is more focused this time. It is no longer as broad, which is interesting. We are also going to have a big name guest star in a hairpiece. We
Hmm.
are going to have, what is the name of the wife? Let's see, I can't remember.
Leanne.
Leanne, but the actress
Kirsten Warren.
Kirsten Warren is going to give up on her accent to some degree, which is interesting. And oh good. The Crow family is in every fucking episode.
Yeah.
So last time the show ended with Liz Vassy returning to Miami after running up against Maximum Bob and getting her client off to some degree. Less,
I mean, he
he's
wasn't
just
going to go to the electric chair.
he wasn't going to go to the electric chair. However, um, this episode immediately introduces the idea that there's a local prison in Deepwater, Florida. Is that a real place?
It's not a real place, but Okeechobee County is.
Okay.
And it is near Miami.
Yes. Okay. The realism is what's important here.
The realism
So,
is what's important. Yes, go ahead.
so we open with Beau Bridges announcing on the campaign trail for governor that was not previously announced or
It hadn't
something.
been announced because remember in the previous episode, which was the pilot, and this is kind of a wild jump from the pilot. Um, there was mention of they pull up to the house and there's a camera crews and his campaign person or something is like, don't mention
The
running, don't mention
governorship.
the
Yeah.
the governor race. Have them bring it up to you. So there's a mention of it, but yeah.
Yeah. He's on the campaign trail now. He's visiting the prison as a it's uphill from here, Emily,
Luckily,
but we are going to start with a prison trip that is basically only going to show incarcerated black men,
yes.
which is not what they did last episode.
No.
So there is going to be a very black men are criminals vibe for a bit, to the point that during Beau Bridges' tour, he is going to peek into a cell as he is complaining about
So
how these.
there's I just want to say because I was very deeply disturbed by this opening scene. Like, and I was talking to my husband about it. He didn't watch it, but I was telling him, like, if this was a some kind of parody, because it's very extreme. He's walking through, he sees a bunch of prisoners working out with gym equipment, and he says something like, gym equipment, this is that's a luxury. We want them to suffer. We don't want them to get out of prison and then come strangle us with their bare hand. Television, they shouldn't be, this isn't a resort. They shouldn't be allowed to watch television. This is punishment. Pornography, that is for the free. And that should not, that's a luxury for the free. It shouldn't be something that an imprisoned person who has broken the law. By the way, that kid he sent to the electric chair last time, broke his parole and by drinking a beer underage. That's why he was getting sent to the electric chair.
He
So
and
these are the types of criminals that he would be sending to places like this. People who drank a beer and they shouldn't be allowed to work out, do this, do that, do whatever. I was so deeply disturbed, but I thought, like, if this was some kind of like weird gonzo parody, I could take it. But that's not what this is.
yes, I don't think we're not gonna go in depth on Mike Judge's political beliefs. I will just say that I don't think they're what one would consider good, probably. But like, yeah, no, this isn't even fuck idiocracy, right? Like this
Yeah.
isn't a spoof on the level of Office Space. This is not a spoof.
No.
It is this episode, which is funny because Barry Sonnenfeld didn't direct it, and it's
Mm-mm.
better directed. This does have that sort of 90s sort of, I don't, snark isn't the right thing, like, but it's like the Get Shorty Pulp Fiction. There's a certain like tone to the humor type vibe that they're going for in it, and it is not an absurdist thing. This is, you know, well, and we'll get into it because
So,
um
so I cut you off when you're talking about it, but he glances into a cell and sees what looks like a beautiful garden, and they open the door so the judge can see in, and there's prisoner, another African American man, played by Antonio David Lyons, um, who is apparently started his own garden of orchids. And he walked in there, and all I could think was, oh my God, he's going to tear all of this down. He is going to destroy what this man has built. And like, this man is doing the best he can with what he's got. How he got all of the seeds, how he got all of the plants, I don't know. But he didn't. Now, it seems he is okay with a prisoner who has a hobby that he can benefit from.
yes. So part of the buildup to the tension of it is that Bo Bridges is like using all the Latin names and emphasizing them like they're female genitalia, basically.
Oh,
Like,
what? Nice labia is
yeah,
what he
thank
says
you.
about
I
one of
didn't
them.
mishear that. I didn't
No,
fucking
you didn't
mishear
mishear
it.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a beautiful colored labia or something. Oh,
Yeah.
gross.
So, in the context of what we thought was going to happen, it's even more terrifying, right? Like, you think he's going to fucking kill the guy and take one of the things. Because that's who the character was in the pilot.
Yes.
Also, when you were talking about illegal acts and things like that, let's not forget that he and Liz Vassy at the end of last episode perverted the course of justice for their own personal gains.
Oh, don't
Like,
worry. They're going to do it again.
they're going to do it again without damage to anyone. Whereas in
That's
the
true.
previous episode, it caused damage, and the consolation prize was that the couple got to live together in prison. Which is, but for like 3 years or something, which is longer than the initial plea deal was for. So it was still fucked up. Okay, so he's going to have this gardener on work release tending to his garden. We heard about the garden in the first episode. We didn't see it. It did not seem plausible
Mm-mm.
as a Jeff Bridge or a Bo Bridges thing. It just seemed like something where he was gonna slip Liz Vassy the roof and all while they were sitting outside, so Leanne couldn't see him. Because we'll also mention previous episode, Maximum Bob was incredibly abusive to Leanne for a large portion of their marriage, and the episode last time was she had finally had enough and was gonna go, but
Flip, this is where the pilot and the rest of the series are going to be different. She's a little sex kitten, and he is madly in love with her, but also can't handle her like weird talking to the spirits thing.
we missed out before Bo Bridges introduces he does his stump speech at the prison. It is
Mm.
narrated
Oh yeah, by
by
Wanda
Wanda
Grace.
Grace, who leans in quite a bit to the when I was a little slave girl stuff. Now, we had a lot of concerns. There are still some concerns in this episode that somebody was
Yes,
like, hi, we're not actually doing any of those scenes where they talk about, what is acceptable. But we will establish that she did not die a horrific death. She did die a
she
horrific
did.
death, but she did not die a horrific death based on other aspects of her living.
Conditions. Yes,
Yes, it was not
she
because
was.
she was
She, she
enslaved.
it was an alligator attack, right?
It was an alligator attack
Yeah,
at the same time
the
on the
same
same
day and
day,
time
but
or something.
150 years earlier than
Yeah.
Leanne. Leanne was almost killed by the alligator and drowned. That was not established in the first episode, also not established in the first episode. Wanda Grace is there to save the racist white man. In the previous episode, Leanne had something great to do, and Wanda Grace was there to save her. Leanne
Hmm.
just thought part of that was saving Maximum Bob. That
Yeah.
has been fucking whitewashed in some really gross ways.
I will
So,
say, I said that last week. I said Wanda Grace is trying to save Maximum Bob because he's gone off the rails or he's off of God's path or something. And Leanne is just the vessel through which that is happening. I said that last week, and you were like, I don't know about that. I said it.
I didn't think that the people who made this show would have so many arguments about whether or not you're only racist if you use the slur. But I
Mm.
was wrong. I also didn't realize how much they don't like women. And I will put a point that I knew they didn't like women last time. But I don't know that we've watched anything on for onesies that has passed the Bechdel test that has hated women as much as this.
This
It's
is
fucked up.
wild. This is wild.
1998.
This
Barry
episode,
Sonnenfeld.
I was like, what is happening here? I like none of these people except for Wanda Grace, Wanda Grace and Leanne a little bit.
I mean, obviously, you might see some tit in the first scene. You thought they might be going ABC, NYPD Blue style. But no, her first scene, she's just wearing lingerie because
She's in a negligee.
she needs a fucking. But Maximum Bob wants to go out and deal with the garden. And she's like, big. That's just like Emily and Mr. Emily. That is the nickname. Big. Also, where was the fucking Sex in the City lawsuit? Like, come on, Barry Sonnenfeld, be a catty bitch. So they have the first scene, and I'm like, well, we haven't resolved. Liz Vassy was the protagonist. What's happening? Not so much. We actually are gonna be more northern exposure in the sort of breadth of how they're
Yeah,
doing it. That isn't going to improve things. It's
no.
just going to be different from last time.
Yeah.
So she's like, why don't you ever fuck me anymore? Like, I need a fucking. And he's like, dude, I don't need a. Are you gonna say the word? Or
What word?
I don't need a not technically slur slave girl talking to me while I'm railing you. Are you going to say the word?
I'm
No,
not
you're
going to say
not.
the word.
You're not going to say the word. However, the show really wants to remind you that these characters, whom you are supposed to empathize with, are, they're fucking racist. So they're not saying the full slurs because they don't got the
So,
balls.
so I will say, um, Mr. Emily is from Florida. His grandmother, yes, would use the bad slurs, but the less bad slurs, let's say the historically outdated way
Terminology
terminology that is
that the New
less
York
bad,
Times would use. Yes.
that is less bad, is language that people his grandmother's age, probably his mother's age, although she wouldn't admit it now, would in 1998 find socially acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right.
Right.
I'm just giving it context for this story. This 50 something year old man in rural central Florida is going to use these words without
We
thinking there's
also
anything
have
wrong.
that.
And again, this is not the N word. This is other words. They would use the N word too without finding it bad. But that is the word that, again, like you said, the media might use. Yeah, it might be in a newspaper. Local woman found dead, whatever. They
Yeah.
would use that terminology
Yes.
and find it acceptable. It is not.
No. It's also a vibe for the post Disney ABC, which we have not done very often. However, as you know from other things, Disney didn't have problems sometimes, though at least they hired black folks to be on the production crew, or even run the production. So
Or direct the
we do,
movie.
or direct
That
the
made
movie. We don't have that cosign here. We don't have that enforced cosign here. Because this is a show for Elmore Leonard readers who are fine with the slur in other Elmore Leonard adaptations. So
yeah.
this is just them. They'll just have to deal with the PG-13 version of it. Okay. Or even the PG, let's be real. So he then puts on a silly gardening outfit while Grace is looking out the window, and we've already heard from Leanne's narration now that Wanda Grace has never gotten laid, and
Again, she's like 11 or 12.
she's got the fucking hots for the gardener. The actress is 13, the actor was 26.
Keep that in
Um,
mind for the last scene.
I mean, keep it in mind for the last scene, but also keep it in mind for the next scene. Okay, so we cut to Miami where we catch up with Liz Vassy. We meet her boss. We meet her dad, played by Arlie Ermey. She is living with him, drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, and
Mhm.
like proud white supremacist, definite proud bigot who shouldn't have been getting work post like he got fired from Eyes Wide Shut, or he didn't get hired on Eyes Wide Shut because Kubrick was like, that guy's a fucking psycho piece of shit to Todd Field. And Todd Field was like, fuck that guy. And then Arlie Ermey's like, he's a fucking pansy or something. So Arlie Ermey getting jobs after that is just more fucking white supremacy. Anyway, he's fine in this. Like, he's funny with the toupee. Like,
Yeah.
he's super supportive of Liz Vassy. He's a fucking kick-ass dad,
It's
but he's
weird
also
because he's like a Miami-Dade sheriff, but he's also like super country. Like it's weird.
it's
It's
very
like
strange.
he belongs in Deepwater, Florida. He does not belong in Miami. Like I don't.
Well, we get a promise of that because
Yeah, we do.
I don't know. I'm not going to ruin the surprise for myself. Okay. So, we catch up with her. We see like some work stuff. She's talking to her dad about it. They go over to her dad goes over to the ex-husband's place to confront him because he's
To
just found
drag the
out
home wrecker out of the house.
because he's found out that the home wrecker is living something. It's very strange that it's timed here.
So what the information we get is that Liz Vassy, as a lawyer, has been supporting her husband through medical school. His name is on the house. Her name is on the car. But because his name is on the house, she's kicked out. The dad is pissed off, going to go over and drag the homewrecker out. We catch up with him, and he is actually dragging the neighbor out of the house. Why? There's no reason for that.
Because he doesn't know what house it is.
Why doesn't he know what house it is? His daughter lived there.
This is a bad television show.
Okay. So while Liz Vassy is explaining to the neighbor what's going on, old like Bronco 2 or something pulls up, and a blonde it gets out and starts yelling, "What are you doing?" Apparently, Liz Vassy has never met this woman before. They have an argument. She says, "Why are you driving my truck?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? Your husband gave it to me, said it's my truck now." Liz Vassy ends up, and this is where I start hating everybody, punching the woman in the face. Um, I think there are reasons to punch people. I don't think that's one of them.
So
I don't think we should be pitting women against each other in this way.
there's also one of Liz Vassy's brothers who we
Oh yeah,
heard
who's
about last
also
time, who's also a cop.
yeah.
So there's gonna be this really flat characterization of the homewrecker because she's a dummy.
Yeah.
Because she's a dental hygienist, so she's a dummy.
And actually, Liz Vassy stands up for her at that moment. The dad says, "Oh, this bimbo," and she's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! She's a dental hygienist." Like at some
So
point, she's standing up for the woman, which is great, despite the circumstances. But then she punches her, and then she says at the well, she says something later that completely contradicts that, which I hated.
and there's also like there could have been an amusing, still biting resolution to it with the like cops getting the title thing resolved. There could also have been a like they could have caught her in something and held her, right, for a stolen
Yeah,
vehicle, right? Would you like to
yeah,
report this vehicle stolen?
yeah.
Yes.
There's so many
Bam,
ways.
you're
Yeah,
fucking in jail. But instead she's gonna get punched out unphysically provoked in front of two fucking sworn police officers. A cab, by the way. Okay, so Liz Vassy gets her car back. We cut to Gardner guy going to bed for the night. In sneaks Leanne,
hmm,
who is like, oh, in the first scene we also established that this guy is he's celibate
yeah, yeah.
uh, for his
I was
Christianity.
I was waiting for something specific, and which we can talk about later.
Yeah, I was too. But so she's like, hey, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out of here. And she's like, I'm not here for me. I'm here for Wanda Grace. Wanda Grace is a little slave girl who lives in my head, and she thinks you're really cute. So
She's
I
got the
think
hots for you.
we're gonna
Yeah,
fuck.
I'm gonna channel her. It's gonna be weird. Just bear with me, and then we're gonna fuck so she can have this good experience. But first, let me ask you a few questions about yourself to make sure
Kind
you're a
of,
good guy.
and I use my magic ball to see this. He's like, lady, your fucking husband's in there and you're insane. And she's just
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about?
At no
It's
point does she think this through.
it's the but in the context of the first episode, Maximum Bob would be out fucking somebody at a strip club to let her off of it, to let her, like, bring your fucking daughter or I'm arresting you for solicitation type stuff.
Yeah.
That was the character in the first episode. That was the character seemingly in the first scene, just he likes Orchid. Okay. Maximum Bob breaks in as she's uncuffing him. He shoots or she stops him from shooting. Kid runs away.
Yeah.
26-year-old runs away. We then have the cops come back. We had a scene last time with Maximum Bob lying to the cops. We get another one because he doesn't want to tell Sam Robards that his wife was trying to fuck the guy.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that she's just trying to fuck this guy. Okay. We cut back to Miami. Liz Vassy loses her promotion because of a civil suit. Oh, she goes into her job, runs into the dental hygienist with a nose bandage and a lawyer. Liz Vassy, who is a public defender, so also of a note for supporting her husband going through to become a surgeon. There's a movie called Night Falls on Manhattan I haven't seen in a while, so I'm not gonna like write off on it, but it does open with a scene of, hi, you're public defenders, I hope you like making less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
And that's in New York City,
Yeah.
which probably funds it better than Miami, Florida. So makes no sense. Okay, so she's been served for a civil suit. She says to hygienist, "Hey, you dumb bitch. The husband never ends up with the blonde he leaves the wife for."
Again, this completely counter, whatever.
In the first scene as well, the dental hygienist is like, "Honey, it's okay. Men do this. They do it to me all the time too. You just gotta, I'm just in the fucking driver's seat now. You gotta go break up your own marriage." Very weird, like,
Very weird morality going on in this.
yeah. And not even like good narrative fucking coupling in terms of for gags. It's just for, weaponized, internalized misogyny.
Yeah.
So, but her boss is like, "Hey, you get served in a civil suit." She's like, "Yes." She's like, "You're not getting the promotion. I'm giving it to John Boy." She's like, "John Boy's a bad lawyer." And he's like, "Hey, it's harder. You as a woman got to do six
And
times
then
more of the work."
and then there's this like hint that this woman is an elected official and she's up for re-election this year, and that's why she's doing it. Again, on Law and Order, like this would be a whole storyline, right? That would last like half of a season. Somebody's up for election and that's making their decisions, like, oh, well, you have to do this because the city wants you to be tough on crime and da 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 if you want to win this election. But this is, I'm going to say it right now, going nowhere.
Oh
This
no,
is going
she's
nowhere.
never going back to Miami.
Yeah.
Unless it's in episode 7 when they're fucking desperate for some reason, and that'll be interesting.
To
So
see to see people in bikinis running around on the beach. That's the only reason.
we didn't do that this episode though,
No.
because standards and practices was like, "Hi, is Kirsten Warren supposed to appear naked in the first half of all of her scenes?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Dude, it's still Disney." And it's like, come on, come on.
Fair, fair enough.
Okay, so Liz Vassy goes to the bar or something with her brother, who we don't establish as her brother or something again.
Yeah, I don't remember how it comes about. I don't
She
know.
never says his name to him. She says his name to him on the phone. It's very weird. Um, they're watching on the news. Beth Grant is talking about her missing granddaughter.
Niece
Niece. Did
or
we miss
something.
the car chase?
We missed the
We
car
did.
chase.
Okay. So in the morning, we have the two dumb brothers who Ken and Matt
Digging a hole.
digging a hole with a bag that we think might be the escaped the escaped gardener. He's on work release, the escaped gardener. But no, we will have him getting chased by the cops.
He steals a car.
He steals a car, drives away. In the car is the baby. We will go back and forth with him and the baby and the two brothers digging this hole. Oh God, they spend the night in there. It's there they cut it in first. That's why it feels like Northern Exposure, is
Yeah.
because here are these fucking quirks in the C plot. And it's like, it's not. It's
And
terrible.
like I need to ask my husband, but they're digging this hole and it's like 20 feet deep.
That's because they're dumb.
But also,
Or
like
not.
they're in Florida, I don't think you could dig a hole that deep.
Well, it's to catch a gator.
Yeah, but I'm saying like physically it would fill up with water because you're so close to the water line.
And they keep referring to deep water as the swamps.
Yeah.
So, okay. Did we also miss the press conference? I think we did. In the first episode, it was the corrupt district attorney. In this episode, it's just some other guy. We don't know if he's the district attorney yet. He'll be back, but he's like the campaign manager. He's like, "Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give a press conference. You're not going to take any questions." He says that this guy's an escaped rapist now.
Yes. So he's setting up this thing that his wife, because again, his ego, right? This guy uh uh is a sexual offender trying to have sex with my wife. Is this the chemical castration
Yeah, it doesn't work,
speech
so we need to do
thing?
it like a book.
Yeah, so chemical castration is, again, this is maximum Bob, right? chemical castration is just temporary. What we really need, see, my dad was a sheep farmer up in West Virginia. This is what we really need. And then pulls out this contraption that's a big piece of shears, big pair of shears. And like, it's like, again, if this was some kind of weird parody, that would be like, ha 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 ha. But
It's not.
it's not. It's not.
So, Maximum Bob has filed a false police report at this time, directly contradicted in a statement to the media that he's holding as a campaign event in his courtroom. I'm not saying that this isn't like how Ron DeSantis does it, but it's weird that we have sort of and we've done this since the 90s, kind of since post Miami Vice. Miami Vice made Miami seem like it was the LA of the South or something, like it wasn't a fucking corrupt shithole of racists. Since Miami Vice ended in 1989, everybody's been kind of like, Miami, and this is thanks to Carl Hayes and in no small part, is a fucking cesspool of fucking inbred racists who just kill black people.
But also a criminal like hotbed. Like
Yes.
people like I was briefly had ties in Miami, and anytime I would read the news, it was like somebody getting up to some like scheming and ripping people off. And it's wild. Miami is a wild, wild place.
So, so this is very much this isn't Miami Vice. Even the Miami
Right.
scenes aren't Miami Vice.
Right.
This is Florida's a fucking shithole. We
Yeah.
just don't know how big of a shithole it is yet.
Yeah.
So
So we get back to
okay, so we have the testimony. So Liz Vassey's in the bar.
Liz Vassey's in the bar. She sees Beth Grant on the TV talking about this child who we are making the connection to, being the child that the ex-con or the escaped convict has
Yes.
kidnapped. And I'm using finger quotes, folks. And she's like, "Oh my God, I know this. I know these people. That's weird."
Niece is also interesting. I believe they cut it in the recap when they introduced Beth Grant. But in the pilot, she and William Sanderson, her husband, are brother and sister, which implies that this being their niece, it is both their sister's child.
Yeah.
So that's fucked. But they cut that a little bit.
And who knows if that plot point from the pilot is even going to come back, right?
Right. Leanne comes into the bar. She's like, "Oh, Liz Vassey, I need your help."
Which is weird.
It's weird.
1998, there were no cell phones. How does she know where to find this bitch?
I think because she's fucking psychic.
Oh, I guess. Spirit guide. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, we use that terminology. I mean, hey, we use that terminology in 2026. You want to tell a 50-year-old white woman not to talk about her spirit guide? Oh, she'll just have to fucking vote for Trump again if you do that. Taking away them rights. It's okay though. Y'all aren't shaving your heads to show off your swastika tattoos like all the fucking men are. Okay, so they then drive to Deepwater, which is 90 miles. Liz Vassey's like, "How far away is it?" Leanne's like, "About 90 miles." And I'm like,
she did the drive last week. So first of all, Okeechobee, which is like the main city in Okeechobee County, is 26 feet above sea level. So technically they could dig a 20-foot hole. I was going to then put it in a map and see how far it is. It would take longer because Miami traffic is horrific, but
I mean, they're on an empty
90 minutes, 90 miles sounds about right.
Okay. There's also the scene where no, there's not, because the guy isn't caught yet. So they're in the car. Liz Vassey's like, "Okay, what is going on here?" And she's like, "Well, Wanda Grace, she's the little slave girl who lives inside me." This is where we find out she was killed by an alligator too. She's like, "She ain't never been fucked. And she likes the look of this gardener. I'm doing more of a Southern accent than Leanne is right
You
now.
are.
And in
Yeah.
the first episode, she was doing 7 times more than this.
Yeah.
She's like, and I just wanted her to get a good fucking. So I was going to go fuck him for her. And Liz Massey's like, okay. We also
Also, keep
probably,
in mind, this is a 13-year-old girl.
yes, we also missed the scene where Leanne says to Maximum Bob, dude, I wasn't gonna fuck him. I was gonna fuck him as Wanda Grace. And Maximum Bob's like, you gotta go. You have two
Yeah,
weeks to
Maximum
get
Bob is
out.
like, you've got 2 weeks to get out. Like,
Which is,
it starts with it's her or me. And
yeah.
then through this conversation, when he realizes she's not willing to give up Wanda Grace or not willing to give her up, like he thinks she's going insane. Um, he threatens to force her to leave.
But he gives her 2 weeks,
He
which
gives her
is
two
more than
weeks.
Liz Massey got. Pin in that because, God, tear to my eye. Okay, so and face sucking that John Ritter and Mary Cataract are gonna be like, please. He didn't even get a fucking boner. Like, I
I
didn't
bet he
even have
did.
to.
I bet he did.
You think he did? He didn't,
I
but
bet
Mary
Bo
Cat
Bridges did.
Bo Bridges might have, but at least Mary Cataract made it seem like she was into it a lot more than Kirsten Warren's going to. Anyway, but that's because Kirsten Warren's like, hi, I'm going to fall out of here. And also, you told me that this thong was a good idea, and I disagree. So they're in the car, and then Wanda or Leanne's like, you sound just like Maximum Bob right now. And Liz Massey's like, well, I'm not like Maximum Bob. I'll give you 90 miles to make me believe.
Yeah.
And so she apparently does because they walk into the sheriff's office and say, hey, Sam Robards, you don't fucking hurt a hair on that guy's head. I'm representing him. But I'm representing him on behalf of Maximum Bob's wife, who is not going to make a statement until this person is safely in custody.
And because he has not, yes, he has not been found yet. That's an
Yes.
important note.
He will be found in the hole with the two dumb brothers by presumably their parents and
Yeah.
also brother and sister. Is that how that works? How does that work? Their uncle. How does it work, Emily?
I don't
Ask
know.
Mr. Emily how it works.
Okay.
We've
So,
established in canon he's from Florida.
one of the things is that we missed in the television broadcast where Beth Grant was going on. The baby cries a lot because it's got colic, and there's a funny joke, again finger quotes, about how she's never been near a cow, let alone got slobbered on, and not very funny. But the baby cries a lot. In the hole with the brothers, the baby's not crying
So
because
while running away on foot, dude Gardner falls in the hole holding the baby. The baby, I actually don't think you would see a black man with a subplot with a white baby in 2026. I don't think you would. I think he would be like, I don't want the death threats. Thank you very much. We also forgot to say that in addition to being a sexual predator, Maximum Bob identifies this person as a Haitian American.
Mhm.
There is quite a bit of anti-Haitian sentiment. Some of it brought on by Democrats who fucking ripped off that country and continue to impoverish them to fill their pockets. I think the Clintons did it too and stuff, like as part like they fucked them on hurricane
Oh, they're the
relief.
good guys.
Hey, you know what? Just because there's not a picture of Bill Clinton fucking a 9-year-old, like there's pictures of Donald Trump doing it, I don't believe it. And you know what? Hillary Clinton doesn't either, because that's who she was like, I'm gonna saddle up to this fucking white boy while I have good old slaves doing my gardening. Um, and you know who's also not cool? Their fucking kid. Their fucking kid should get on national television and prostrate herself in front of Monica Lewinsky. Okay, so they work it out with the sheriff. Sam Robards is like, "What? we wouldn't do police brutality. What the fuck are you talking about, Liz
Yeah.
Vassy?
And she's like, I've been here. Remember my last visit when I was here 2 days ago and I got sexually assaulted and propositioned and thrown into contempt of court for not accepting the proposition. And by the way, there's going to be some more courtroom antics here that I find distasteful.
So I don't see this as much as Northern Exposure as I see it as a sort of Fox picket fences.
Oh,
So, and by that, by the Fox tag, it's very strange. So the Sonnenfeld TV company also did the Tick, which is why they must have liked Liz Vassy. I have not seen the live action Tick, so I do not have.
the first live action one?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that either.
I don't have any.
It's a bad dude, that guy.
Yeah, but they did another show that was some dirt cheap thing. So they're not like doing prestige television. They're
Mm-mm.
doing it's like, hi, I made the biggest blockbusters of the last, like Men in Black was either the biggest I think it was the biggest blockbuster of its year, or it was in the top three. And he's
Probably.
like, I am gonna make shitty TV. Okay, so they find they're we skip their capture in the hole, which is weird.
Yes, which is very
But
weird.
then do we go straight to court?
I think
I
we go
think we
straight to court.
because we don't get to see Liz Vassy meet with her client.
Mm-mm.
We don't get to see um we don't get to see Leanne explaining the whole body switch is okay for fucking thing. Because even if Leanne doesn't seem like she was going to tell dude that he was fucking a 13-year-old. Okay. So they're in court. First witness is Beth Grant, who
Yes.
is explaining that the baby's great. Mr. Gardner was great with the baby. Baby doesn't cry. She's gonna line up hiring him when she doesn't want him in trouble because they're gonna hire him when he gets out to be the fucking nanny to make sure this baby doesn't cry anymore.
Right.
Which probably should have been in scene, but also it probably wouldn't have gone well.
This is just this courtroom scene is just a way to kind of consolidate all of these positive things
that he has done.
that he has done. Yeah.
So next,
Also, at some point during this, we discover he never actually robbed the bank. Oh, when Leanne is trying to get with
mind
him,
reading him, yeah,
she's mind reading him, and we find out he did not commit the two bank robberies that he had been imprisoned for.
yes. I will save you the editing decision, but I was thinking last night, is it really describe to me the moral structure around convicting people of murder when the state does it all the time? Like, why are we pretending it's a crime? Anyway, so we aren't going down that route because it gets good. I'll do my research first. Anyway,
Nobody got killed in this episode, so we don't have to worry about that right
don't
now.
have to worry about that right now. I haven't been reading ahead, so
Neither have I.
Oh, cool. Okay, so Wanda Grace, nope. Leanne, we have not seen Wanda Grace, by the way, since the first scene.
Yeah.
We heard
They
her.
do some weird camera trickery where she's talking to Leanne's talking back while hubby is walking around putting his weird gardening clothes on, and like Wanda Grace is sitting on a bench. They cut to a door just where she's just out of eyesight, and then he goes and sits on that same bench, and she's gone.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's magic. The magic of
But
television.
when she is going into the gardener, she has not checked in with Wanda Grace on this. That is some
Mm-mm.
of the issue, or not, because she, snuck out of bed from her husband, who quickly followed her. But in the intervening time between dude running and her going to get Liz Vassy, we have missed all the scenes where she's like, honey, I just wanted you to get fucked. I got
Yeah.
fucked when I was 11. It ain't right that you're dead and you ain't gotten fucked and you're 13. That's just sad. So she goes on the stand.
Leanne.
Leanne goes on the stand. Liz Vassy's first question is,
Can I just pause right here because we missed a huge point. And that is that
we
this this court case arguing the guilt of this black man who supposedly is being accused of attempting to rape the judge's wife is being decided in
by the
his
judge.
courtroom with
Yes.
him as the judge.
We skipped, oh, good. We skipped something. We skipped your favorite fucking scene. When they have the guy on the stand before Leanne goes up, and the judge stops Liz Vassy from questioning him and says, you want to fuck my wife? Look at her. To which
Oh
he's like,
yeah.
Leanne, stand up. So she stands up, and the courtroom's like, Giggity! And then he's like,
Yeah.
you turn around real slow, baby. And so
Yeah.
she turns around, smiling from ear to ear. They are not speaking at this point, but she is fucking so happy to be objectified like this.
Yes.
So she turns around and he's like, how could you not want a fine piece of white meat like that?
And this is the point where he said something like, she's not really my type. I thought that
Yes,
he was going to be gay
I did too.
and that his celibacy was some like Catholic priestly celibacy. Like, it's okay to be gay as long as I don't fuck men.
Yeah,
Like, that's what I thought it was going to be. I'm
I
so
did.
glad it wasn't that,
I was waiting for that.
but I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it as soon as he said it. As soon as he said, I'm celibate, I was like, oh no.
So Liz Vassy's like, take a deep breath and answer the judge's question. And
Yeah.
he's like, no, I don't. She's not my type. And then that's it.
Yeah.
She comes up on the stand. Liz Vassy's first question is, how did you meet your husband? The judge, the other lawyer objects. Judge sustains it, says, you don't get to fucking talk about this. And
And
so
then
Liz,
this is where some fuckery comes in. And Liz Vassy's like, listen, we could answer this question, or I could ask her questions about the little slave girl that she talks to. That wouldn't look very good for your campaign now, would it? And the judge is like, okay.
so they then tell the story of how they met and what a gentleman he was when she was 15 and he was 45. And how much she loves him. She cries, he cries, everybody is emotional.
Yeah.
I think they even have the gardener get weepy at it. And then after they reconnect, she sits on the bench, stretches out her gams, and gives him a good smooch while everybody claps, including Liz Vassy.
Yeah.
So
Liz Vassy, in fact,
why
starts off the clapping. It was so
is
weird.
this your favorite show of all time?
I don't
Okay.
know. I have really, really good niche taste. How about that?
Okay. Our last scene of the episode, how is it our last scene? No, god damn it, it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
So
next scene.
the courtroom scene is over. They're in the sheriff's office, and the sheriff is trying to convince Liz to stay. We've got all of these cases. You know, Bob is just gonna railroad these people. Blah blah blah. You can't let that
I
happen to them. And she's like, I have to go back. You can't make me stay.
so our hero, Sam Robards, I mean, what are we saying? It's a fucking cop. Of course he does. He locks her in the office to
He
look at
tricks
these
her,
things.
locks her in the office, and
Says look at 5.
yeah, says look at 5 of these cases.
Okay. So I believe we then cut to Miami,
Mm-hmm.
where she's telling Ermey she's moving out to do
Yeah.
this. It's the middle of the night. He's scrubbing the floor. She's like, why are you scrubbing the floor? We haven't talked about her mom. Her mom is off adventure traveling around the globe.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see who this guest star is, if we get there. But he's in there because, and this I thought was super interesting, but it's also that thing of you don't understand how dumb actors are until you meet John Voight, which is something that like his high school drama teacher said about him or something. She was like, he's a fucking, prodigy. He's also the stupidest fucking human being you've ever met. Like, Ermey's scrubbing the floor. It's like, any man who doesn't pull his weight in a marriage hates women and is a fucking piece of shit who should die. And I'm like, do
Yeah, because
you
Liz,
hear what you're saying?
because he's cleaning the floor and Liz Vassie's bitching about how she could never get her husband to do stuff like that.
Right. Like, shit,
This is
man.
also an opportunity for if they wanted to turn this into a Northern Exposure type experience, kind of like the sheriff in Deepwater. They could have him be some like spiritual, like hippy dippy, super feminist something, like, but also with the redneck voice and also a
Yeah.
police officer. Like they could have turned it up a little bit more to make it a little bit weirder, if that's what
Right.
their intention was.
So the scene's less has less impact at the end when he's like, "Why don't you get down here and help me? We'll be done by morning then." It's like, okay. You still are like, you should labor for me.
It is 3 in the morning too, which is weird.
Yes. So we then cut to the prison where it's Liz Vassy and the gardener, and there are a couple orchids on the table. And she's like, sorry, all your fucking orchids died while you were gone. Like,
Yeah.
clearly the orchid gardener who actually supplied them was like, fuck you, you're killing my orchid. No insert shot, nothing, because this guy hasn't been a character since he fell in the hole to some degree.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, it's like, you're going to get out here, these orchids, blah, blah, blah. By the way, are you okay talking to Leanne? Leanne's like, hi, Wanda Grace, who we will not
So
discuss this on screen.
So a couple things. It wasn't Liz Vassy who was
Oh, it
visiting
was
him. It
Wanda
was
Grace the
just
whole time.
Leanne the whole time. Yeah.
They're in
And
a
and
private hunt.
Bob gave him the
The
orchids.
orchids. Okay.
Yeah.
So presumably Bob is also okay with this, which
Yeah.
is, you know, I mean, hey, at least if he gets to the get out stage, he'd vote for Obama another time. Okay. So, um, they aren't gonna fuck, but can she at least get a first kiss?
So this turns it into a problem for me. Because yes, the idea of a first kiss is very sweet. Wanda Grace starts narrating. You actually see Wanda Grace in the place of Leanne. But that means that when they do kiss, you're watching a 13-year-old kiss a 26-year-old man.
You're not,
Unless, okay,
because they don't show the 13-year-old.
they show the
They
faces though.
don't they just show the lips kissing, or do they show
It's,
the whole?
I mean, it's not the whole face, yes. But so,
I
so
would
yes,
hope.
I thought that too. I would hope that they had a double in there so this little girl doesn't have to kiss an adult man. Like, I was hoping that. I still found it problematic, just even the idea of a 13-year-old kissing a grown man. Like, I find that problematic, but it's over. The episode entitled Wanderlust is over.
No, it's not, because the last scene is Liz Vassy getting to town, going in to tell
Right.
the sheriff, but he's dancing by himself, and so
Yeah.
she's gonna wait to tell him, and then we get our
Yeah.
preview of next week, and
Which is just a bunch of things that doesn't really say anything about the episode. But next week's episode, Bay of Bigs, Bob busts his ex-wife for smuggling Cuban cigars into the country. There's a mix-up about federal agents that arrive into town, claiming that she's an operative of theirs. And Kathy agrees to dance in a competition with the sheriff, who's been practicing his ballroom dancing the whole time. So this is the will they won't they, right? That we've been expecting from the first episode or the pilot episode, I guess. Yay. Yay for that. Any special guest stars, you ask? I don't know.
Lee
I
Garrett
don't
Darlington is
mm,
someone. She was in Cobra. Ask Mr. Emily about Cobra.
okay. Yeah, otherwise I don't
Okay.
recognize anybody. All right. Well, we made it through this one. Thank you.
So much better than last week, even though it's about how murderous racists should get some good ass.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for watching, Andrew. Everybody, thank you for listening to this episode, everybody. Like the three people. Um, we will see you next time when we
Would
talk about
you listen to somebody talk about this show?
yes. When we talk about episode 3 of Maximum Bobs. Episode 3, that's 3 out of 7. So we are so close to being done already. Andrew, I'll see you in television land.
See you in television land, Emily. Say hi to Big for me.